the first episode of Hard Knocks featuring John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders on HBO confirmed my beliefs in what the Oakland Raiders really are: a clueless, dysfunctional, declining organization. And it starts from the top. Mark Davis was proud to call the Raiders a dysfunctional bunch at the alumni dinner in the episode. That's unacceptable. That shouldn't be acceptable to Raiders fans, the greats of the Raiders in their glory years. And his moves to help the team didn't do any favors. There's no way any team would give a head coach a 10-year contract or a $100 million contract unless you're Mark Davis and the Oakland Raiders. John Gruden, in year 2 of this 10-year contract, seems disengaged, disinterested, and plays like it's 2002. This sounds like Jeff Fisher. He thinks it's Brad Johnson facing Rich Gannon in the Super Bowl. Mike Mayock, remember him as an NFL Network analyst, picked Cielin Ferrell at number 4 overall over guys like Josh Allen, Devin White, and Devin Bush. All I think are going to be great in the NFL. He did have a nice rebound in picking Jonathan Abram later in the first round. I mean, Jonathan Abram, I think, was the best safety in last spring's draft, and I think he can be great in that position. But let's remember this. The Oakland Raiders traded Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper, your 2 best players, and they became Wizards far beyond the expectations of the Oakland Raiders after they were traded. And John Gruden said in the press conference after the Khalil Mack trade last year, there were other ways to win. That's false. Remember last year, their defense was shredded to pieces by Nicky Mullins on national TV last year in front of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. But wait, there's more. They traded for Antonio Brown, who has a foot injury before training camp began, and it became even worse for not being properly geared up for the cryogenics room. And ESPN reported yesterday he has no timetable for return. That doesn't even hide the fact that Antonio Brown's antics in Tuesday night's episode of Hard Knocks show that he's still the egocentric player that begged the Pittsburgh Steelers to trade him. And if I was Antonio Brown, you should have been grateful the Steelers had a trade in place to send him to the Buffalo Bills. And here's the reality of the situation. The Oakland Raiders have lost their innocence. They're winning 3 games this year. Their defense is atrocious. They have no depth, no sufficient talent at any of the dimensions of the defensive side. Losing Antonio Brown early will make for headaches for Derek Carr not having his home run threat. There's no accountability, there's no heart, there's no desire, there's no winning mindset in Oakland or Napa Valley, and it's hard for me to fetch any of those for the Las Vegas Raiders next year, and Raiders fans deserve better. The Baltimore Orioles continue to hit new lows. They were utterly destroyed. They were soul destroyed in every way possible by the New York Yankees this week. So much so that Chris Davis, the Orioles' $161 million man, clashed with manager Brandon Hyde out of frustration. 3 straight games of 5 or more home runs allowed. Last night was the capper of it all. You expect Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Giancarlo Stanton to hit those home runs, but you'd be wrong. 2 were hit by Giovanni Urshela, who was an automatic out in the playoffs 2 years ago. 2 were hit by Kyle Higashioka, who started in the place of the injured Gary Sanchez, and 1 by Cameron Maybin, who is on the team because of the Giancarlo Stanton injury. The Baltimore Orioles are 38 games under 500, 37 games back of the Yankees in the division, have the second worst pitching staff I've seen in my 15 years as a baseball fan. The Orioles waited far too long to move their valuable pieces from their playoff runs in the decade, and the Orioles are light years away from relevancy again. The Orioles are on pace to give up 980 runs and 325 home runs. That's just pathetic, unheard of. Only two teams in the last 75 years have given up that many runs in the season, the 96 Tigers and the 99 Rockies. They are a sickening disgrace to Baltimore, and should sell ice cream instead. At least Trey Mancini has 27 home runs, and Hanser Alberto is hitting .313. Boy, you poor, poor, poor people of Baltimore. But wait, there's a team that's worse. It's the 33-78 Detroit Tigers. It's August 8th, and the Tigers have 33 wins. A once proud franchise is now gutted of competent major league talent. And Al Avila is one of the worst general managers in all of baseball. And the Tigers' returns for guys like Shane Green, Justin Verlander in recent years are quite underwhelming. They are offered Javi Baez for Alex Bregman for young budding pitcher Michael Fulmer in recent trades. And Al Avila said no. Remember the Tigers got Fulmer in the trade that sent Yoenis Cespedes to the Mets? The Mets went to the World Series last year, in 2015, in part because of Cespedes. Javi Baez helped the Cubs win 2016. Alex Bregman helped the Astros win 2017. And Baez and Bregman were top 10 players in baseball last year. But wait, let's flash back to last week's deadline. Michael Boyd was one of the most highly sought after pitchers last year, and this was a great opportunity for the Tigers to cash in. But the Tigers' asking price was so high, no team wanted to pay the price. The same could be said about Shane Green and Nick Castellanos. They traded Green and Castellanos for practically nothing. Al Avila should get out of the baseball business, fold the franchise, sell ice cream like the Baltimore Orioles. The Tigers only have Miguel Cabrera as marketable. Their lineup is the worst in the NFL. Their pitching is dreadful. Starting pitching bad, bullpen worse with the Shane Green trade. And let me tell you this, I've been following baseball for about 15 years. The 2019 Detroit Tigers are the worst team I've ever seen.